Coming right up, another fun Varsity Sports Show.
The Let It Fly Football Drills and Skills Camp is intense and rigorous, designed to improve skill levels for kids ages 7 to 14. Drills target hand and eye coordination, footwork, speed, agility, and quickness. Instruction from current and former professional and college athletes. Go to letitflyfootballcamp.com for more information. The Let It Fly Football Drills and Skills Camp is a proud sponsor of the Varsity Sports Show's IFL report with Arizona Rattlers wide receiver Isaiah Houston. Chris Scott of RE/MAX is Central Oregon's best realtor for anyone thinking of a vacation home or relocation. He's our very own born and raised Phoenician who moved his family to Central Oregon nearly 15 years ago. Contact Chris if you're thinking of exploring beautiful Central Oregon. It truly is living at its best. 541-999-5614. Proud partner of the Varsity Sports Shows, it's Dylan. Thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show. Our mission is to empower education and enable dreams, creating a platform to promote young people in extracurricular activities and community outreach. If you are interested in partnering up with the Varsity Sports Show, find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or call or text us at 480-779-9437. The Varsity Sports Show, Arizona's home for youth, high school, college, and you.
Hi, kids. This is DJ Soulman from the Funk Junkies, and you're listening to the Varsity Sports Show with my man Vince Delicio. And what's your last name?
It's Delicio.
Okay, that's right. That's what I thought. Yeah, right.
KDUS AM 1060 Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix is brought to you by AC by J, Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Drains.
This program is paid for by the JV Sports LLC and its partners.
You're listening to the Varsity Sports Show, home of Arizona's youth, high school, college sports, and you, empowering education and enabling dreams, right here on KDUS AM 1060 in Arizona. And now, welcome to the Varsity Sports Show.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. My name is Vince Delicio, and so excited to begin a new era in the Varsity Sports Show. Just using that word gives me all feel-good bumps all over. And we are live in studio here in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona. Right off of 52nd Street, and with a view of South Mountain here behind me, and it's a neighborhood I grew up in, and I am just thrilled beyond belief because today is our first 2-hour show, the first of many, hopefully. Or we could be back to an hour or even a half hour a couple weeks from now if nobody likes our format. But I think, I'm excited because I think everybody, for the most part, likes what we're doing. We're doing a good job with it, and thus we are now 2 hours. So thank you so much for joining us here on the Varsity Sports Show. We've got a lot going on that I'll get into here shortly. But first of all, I want to introduce a couple of special guests. You guys asked for it. We had I live by the 4 agreements, and the 4 agreements are: be impeccable with your word, don't take anything personally, remember that one in particular, don't make assumptions, and always do your best. And so I live by that. I grew up in the neighborhood, and I like to bust chops of a lot of my friends, and they likewise do the same to me. It's not, when we're together, it's not all that politically correct. We have a lot of fun, and to the outsider who may not understand that relationship, I apologize in advance, but this next guest, he and I go back and forth constantly. We have a war of words, and it's mostly me insulting him and him just kind of crawling into a corner and crying and getting pity from people. But and you wouldn't think when you look at the guy because he's a mountain of a man, but we've had a lot of fun. And another guy that a couple of guys that grew up in the neighborhood, and that said neighborhood, in case you guys were wondering, was East Phoenix. Back then it was called East Phoenix, around 32nd Street, McDowell. That's kind of that area that I grew up in. And Anyway, a lot of fond memories. This guest, his name is Dylan Weinmiller. Now, Dylan, and also joined by another friend from the neighborhood, Sal Navarro, but Dylan and I have gone back and forth. We have a lot of fun with it. We know we've got thick skin. We know we have fun with it, and we never take each other too seriously. But it was bound to happen that this was going to come to a head, and we were going to be in studio sharing our banter with the world today. And we've got some exciting things. So first of all, let me introduce my friends here. Sal Navarro. Sal, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm great. And Dylan Weinmiller. Dylan.
Yeah, thanks, Vince. Is this a bad time to bring up that I've been in therapy?
Anyway, so we have fun. And so with that being said, we have another friend who's a realtor up in Central Oregon. Oregon, of all places. His name is Chris Scott. He also grew up in the neighborhood. And Chris said one day, man, you guys should take this stuff to radio. I want to sponsor a segment. I want to partner up and bring Dylan to radio so that you guys can continue your little war of words on radio. So we came up with an idea. Today we're co-hosting the show together, but we've got a segment. And we're going to play that intro song shortly of that segment that we're going to be playing about every other week when Dylan will present something to the audience. But I wanted to go through. Actually, I'm going to save these because we had some congratulatory emails from you, Dylan, that I'm going to share in a few minutes. But let's do this. Let me go through, and I'm going to talk about the format of today's show. I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but we've got a lot going on today. Don't think just because we're going 2 hours that we're going to extend everything out and slow it down and do a lot of talking and not a lot of features. No, that's not true. We are doing a lot of features today, and you guys picked a great Saturday to listen in and start your weekend off with us. So we are going to have the weekend wellness with Jen Mayer. She's a nutritionist. You may know that last name. She is the wife of fitness guru Tyler Mayer. She's going to be joining us in the next segment, talk a little nutrition. Michael Garaffa, who is a Walter Cronkite student. He is a baseball guru, hosts his own podcast, does a lot of games for us, play-by-play games on our live stream. He is going to be talking about the lockout, the Major League Baseball lockout, in the next segment. Then we've got our Saguaro SaberCat baseball report. Head baseball coach Joe Mickey is going to be joining us. We'll have another recruiting spotlight sponsored by My Recruits, and our Cronkite broadcaster Nick Hogan will be delivering that. In the 8:45 segment, we've got a feature presented by another one of our broadcast team members, Nick Hall, on a young man that is committed to the University of Kentucky baseball program out of Blue Ridge High School named Seth Chavez. Bailey Leisure, another one of our Cronkite team members and one of our producers, will be presenting a recap of the AIA Basketball State Championships. We, in Isaiah Houston's segment, the Inside the Huddle with Arizona Rattlers wide receiver Isaiah Houston, his dad, Mark Houston, a coach in his own right, will be joining us in the 9 o'clock hour number 2. Then we've got a feature interview with the new head football coach at Mesquite High School out in Gilbert, Vance Miller, great guy. You can be a nice guy in this business and still be in this business, right, Dylan?
I agree. Couldn't agree more.
So Vance Miller, great guy. Then we've got another new feature, an old friend of mine, Brittany Boyer, Lit with Brit. That'll be in the 9:15 segment. You guys have seen Brittany out and about. She reports on anything and everything. She is out there. She's a big Sun Devil. She reports on high school, any sport. She's big into gymnastics as well, and she'll be presenting a topic every other week. And this week, it is going to be exciting. We're going to talk multi-sport athletes, and she'll be presenting her take on that. That'll be at 9:15. 9:25, we've got a nice little a segment on Desert Mountain Baseball, a preview by Aviana Hoppus, one of our broadcasters. Ron Sowers, legendary coach Ron Sowers, O-line, D-line guru, the O-line, D-line whisperer, will be joining us with one of his coaches, Walter Cuff, at 9:30. And then 9:38, we've got the Spring Spotlight Series. We got a lot of stuff going on, guys. And then we're going to close out the show with Ralph's Corner, my consigliere up in the town of Carefree. Ralph Farrow will be talking a little baseball, and then we will end the show with the president of the Arizona Roadrunners, Beep Beep, Matt Mason, the new football program up in Prescott Valley with a major announcement. Okay, let's run that intro segment, Aaron.
Welcome to Dylan. He's out and about looking for fun. He's Dylan. Brought to you by Chris Scott of Remax Ski Properties in Bend, Oregon, where it's living at its best. 541-999-5614. And now, it's Dylan.
I love it. Anyway, so every other week we got this segment called It's Dylan. And we tried to come up with something. I said, because Dylan, you like restaurants. You eat a lot, man. You eat a lot.
You're saying that so kindly. Like
But
it's
you're
a big
out
deal.
and
Like it's a
about.
big thing.
You're an animal lover. You've got your little partner, Loki, who is your little mini pincher, and it was a great, great little dog. And I'm sure it kind of helps you with meeting women, too, because God knows without that dog, you would have no social life.
Jeez, you're just coming right off on it. Huh?
We're starting with zingers right off the bat. Anyway, but so you're an animal lover. You like to hike. You like to travel. So we've got a lot of things. A lot, a whole mixed bag of things that we can delve into from week to week, and it'll be a lot of fun. Now, let's get to some emails. And again, we talked about the 4 agreements. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. Always do your best. All right, so Jan.
A little Don Miguel. I like it.
Here we go. Email number 1. Jan from Phoenix writes, "Hey, congratulations on the new gig, Dylan. By the way, did you audition for the movie Shrek, or did the writers just ask permission to use your likeness for the main character?"
I have not seen a dime from Shrek, so I'm going to go with the
All right.
the latter.
That's a crime because you bear an uncanny resemblance to Shrek. You look just like Shrek. You got your head is like the size of a bowling ball.
I've been green a few times too. So
okay.
That works.
Okay. All right. Steve from Apache Junction writes, "Hey Dylan, is there a big and tall store for hats? If so, what size is your head?"
That's a good question. I usually get the ones with the flex.
Okay.
The extra large
The
flex.
And you flex the heck out of those things, don't you? All right. Okay, here we go. We got another one. There's a couple more here. Another one. Mike from Levine writes, "When you bend down to tie your shoes, do you fall over because your head is so large?"
I do not. I've actually fixed that problem, but thank you for your interest in my shoe tying adventure.
All right, here we go. Another one. Teresa from Santan writes, she went right for it. She said, "Why don't you have a neck?"
Teresa from Santan.
Yeah,
That's great. Well, let Teresa know that I'm working on that as well. I've dropped about 30 pounds since October, so the neck is starting to show itself again.
Yeah, none of it came off of your head, obviously.
No, not yet.
It's still
not
big.
Yet. Well, that's why I keep the hair off.
Okay, all right. Oh, and finally, Joanne from Glendale writes, "When you sat on the wall and later had the great fall, what'd you do next?"
I had some people actually make an
Humpty Dumpty.
omelet.
Yeah.
They made an omelet out of me, and you can probably blame my neck and head on that.
Right. All right. So anyway, thank you so much, listeners, Jan, Steve, Mike, Teresa, and Joanne, for writing in and offering Dylan those encouraging words and astute observation. So anyway, folks, thank you for joining us here on the Varsity Sports Show today. When we come back, we are going to be joined by fitness nutritionist Jen Mayer. And it's going to be a fun show. I'm looking forward to it. Dylan, are you excited?
I am. You know what? This is actually a pretty cool opportunity. I will be doing some things in the very near future.
Okay.
I'll be calling in remote or whatever it's called on the radio.
Yes,
but,
remote. Yeah,
remote.
Yeah.
I'll be in New Orleans next month. I'll be in Vegas next weekend. There's some fun things coming up. Got some good friends coming into town soon, so looking forward to sharing my adventures. And, of course, cannot forget the Lokester. He'll be with me on a couple of those.
Yeah, the Lokester being Loki, that your chick magnet.
We can't forget Mr. Blue and Little Rascal either. I do have cats.
Oh, my God.
So if anybody's...
And then we'll talk about the Star Trek convention that you'll be attending as well, and whenever you decide to move out of your parents' basement. All right, folks, we'll be right back after the break here on the Varsity Sports Show. Go Varsity.
The Dan Patrick Show improves your mornings. The DP Show airs from 7 to 10 a.m., adjusting to that time change.
Okay.
Get your radios locked 7 a.m. on KDUS AM 1060.
Hey guys, Vince here to talk to you about a good friend of mine named Bob Jenkins. Bob is a Marine Corps veteran. Bob and his younger brother DJ own Vets Built Contracting. You've seen their trucks around Metro Phoenix, I'm sure. For 5 years, they've been hiring and putting veterans to work. Vets Built is licensed, bonded, and insured, both residential and commercial, specializing in renovations, remodeling, new build, casitas, safe rooms, or small commercial TI work. If you're a skilled veteran looking for work, a homeowner in need of work, or a commercial business needing TI work, please call Bob or DJ at Vets Built at 480-584-3675.
Pinnacle Pain and Spine's team of professionals are ready to help with that nagging head, neck, back pain, and arthritis with proven treatment as soon as your first visit. Dr. Matthew Crooks and his friendly team have the highest consumer ratings in trust, friendliness, and easy scheduling. They work with most insurance plans. With locations in Scottsdale, Chandler, and Fountain Hills, pinnaclepainaz.com or call 480-407-6400. Proud partner of the Varsity Sports Show and Fitness Minute with Tyler Mayer.
Hello, my name is David Montoya, the HJCAC beat writer and broadcaster with the Varsity Sports Show. As a former junior college transfer myself, I am so happy to be covering the Hohokam Junior College Athletic Conference. It is my duty to bring any news surrounding this league right here on the Varsity Sports Show. You can also follow me on Twitter @_David Montoya to keep up with any HJCAC news. Thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show.
SB Nation Radio is now Sports Map Radio, keeping sports content fresh and fun. Join us right here on KDUS AM 1060.
Weekly Wellness. Activate lifestyle and performance coaching with local fitness and nutrition experts Tyler and Jen Mayer on the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona.
She's solo maintenance. Don't need no champagne, popping entertainment.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show here on AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona. It's not often that we play country music here, but anyway, but it was at the request of at our next regular contributor here, famous nutritionist Jen Meyer and Tyler, the fitness guru. Good morning, guys.
Hey, good morning, Vince. Good morning, Varsity Sports Show listeners.
Good morning.
We thought, that was fitting, going to talk about, Applebee's and shakes and all that good stuff. So, ties right into health and wellness.
So, Tyler, while we have you on the line, I want to introduce you to some old friends from the neighborhood, Sal Navarro and Dylan Weinmiller. And Dylan, I don't know, Tyler, you don't have time for social media because you're out there doing that fitness thing and exercising and doing the right thing and watching what you eat and all that. And the rest of us, meanwhile, are on social media. But Dylan and I go toe-to-toe a lot of times. And, he's kind of how can I phrase this eloquently? Kind of a fat, disgusting guy. And anyway, no. He's a good friend. We like I said, don't make assumptions, don't take anything personally. Always do your best, and of course, be impeccable with your word. So, what kind of advice can you give Dylan?
Well, I tell you, based off of the opening segment, Dylan, man, Godspeed. I'll tell you, and just so I don't get ahead of myself, we just just bear the armor, man. I'll tell you, what a friendship. I mean, sometimes you need those brutally honest friends, but I'm in your corner, Dylan. However we can support you, we're here to do so.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it. It's finally somebody in my corner.
Man, I'll tell you. I said to Vince last week, man, hey, I want to get down to the studio after these last 2 weeks. I don't know if that's such a good idea.
No, we're having fun, but in all seriousness, though, Dylan has been out there hiking. He hikes every day. What's that hashtag you use, Dylan?
Fat Boy Goals 2022.
Yeah.
Oh man, nice.
Yeah, they should also use. You should include another hashtag in their
ULB.
Yeah, big head goals too. But he's lost like over 30 pounds. How much have you lost?
Long story short, I went from 288 after just waking up one morning, just feeling awful about it.
Yeah.
And I weighed in at 250 this morning.
And he's 5'1". So, he's lost a lot of weight. He's making the right decisions, and this is where Jen can come in and help with some nutrition tips because he doesn't eat well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Come on. Sure. I've been eating better. Let's fix that real fast.
All right, so
one thing we say a lot of is just make better bad decisions.
Perfect.
We go with that. We can
Sign
go with
me
that.
up.
Hey, yeah, go ahead, Dylan.
No, just sign me up for that. I like making good bad decisions.
I love it. Well, I tell you, we talk about just keep moving, and 21 minutes a day is all that's recommended, of moderate to high intensity. But Vince, I'll tell you what, congratulations to the show. So awesome to get that second hour in. And, I just mentioned I wanted to give Jen some airtime here as well. She is by far the brains and looks of Activate. But I wanted to hit kind of a reset. We did the Fitness Minute. Now, partnered up with Jen, we want to focus on the weekly wellness. And, we want to make sure the purpose of what we do weekly is to provide the listeners, with lifestyle and performance tips, tricks, trends, or alternatives to help live a healthier lifestyle now. I mean, that's what it's all about. We don't need to wait. We can start feeling better, looking better if that's the goal right now. And we're going to do this by discussing our various fitness, sports, and nutritional topics, obviously, as I mentioned, within our scope of expertise, along with our show sponsors, the Fixed Body Group, Pinnacle Pain and Spine. We have solutions to a stronger, healthier, well-rounded future you. I love saying that. The future you will thank you for the choices and decisions you made today. And Vince, for the listeners, I just want to recap a little bit about myself, which I don't like to do often, but a little background. Former professional soccer player, six-sport high school athlete. I've been in health and fitness profession for over 22 years, so I've seen a lot. A lot has evolved. But at the same time, it always circles back to keeping it simple. A true passion for fitness and performance, but more amazed at how the body works and what it's able to do when put into some pressure. Greater, I love the mindset of what it takes to be great and to overachieve some of those hurdles, especially when we're dealing with health and fitness. The mind is very powerful. So I just love, and I find so much joy in seeing others achieving optimal health. And if our listeners can get something out of that, then mission accomplished. So with that being said, I am going to toss this over to Jen, who is, the brains and looks behind Activate Lifestyle and Performance.
Go ahead, Jen.
Yeah, thanks, guys, for having me. I'm really honored to be here to chat with you guys week after week and touching on different topics. Just feeding off of something Tyler just said. I'm that trainer, I'm that nutritionist that is not going to force somebody to, go clean out their pantry and fridge and start fresh on Monday. I'm not a dieting nutrition. I don't believe in diets. I don't believe in calorie counting, which a lot of people love. And I'm not the person that encouraged somebody to wait until Monday or, to wait for a certain date on the calendar, January 1st, to make some lifestyle changes. Your next decision, the next thing that you do, the next move that you make, the next thing that you eat can be that one next step that you take to a healthier you. And that's what I want to encourage people to do.
Hey, Jen, what do you do about the guy maybe that doesn't have any food in their pantry but likes to order half the menu? Dylan.
I say always enjoy eating, enjoy the memories that food and gathering together can bring, and take some of it home with you and eat it throughout the week. Maybe not all at once.
Done.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
We learn those good habits over time. We don't. It's not a big change all at once. We make little changes. I help people figure out why they want to make those changes, because if we don't know why we're making changes, we're not going to stick with it. So I like to keep things simple, easy, attainable, goal setting, and working with people just to feel confident in who they are and the decisions that they're making. Men, women, teenagers, everybody, all ages. I work with everybody, and everyone has a different goal. I work with people that want to just be able to do a push-up. I work with people that they don't want to fall over anymore. They have poor balance. I work with people that have huge weight loss goals. Big ranges, lots of goals, and I like to work with all of them.
That is awesome. Contact information. How do people get in touch with you both?
Absolutely. Easiest thing to do is to go to the website, www.active8coaching.com, and all of our social links are there. You can contact us via email. Best way to get a hold of us.
And you guys, you're low impact, medium impact, high impact. You work with every age group.
Yep.
Do you have a preference? Is there somebody, is it somebody that's, svelte and fit and handsome like me that comes to see you? Or do you have someone on the other end of it that is just one of the dregs of society like my friend Dylan here?
My personal favorite person to work with is one that's willing to put in the work.
Okay.
If you're going to be consistent and you're willing to work and you're willing to take some constructive guidance and some tools that'll actually help you hit goals, that's the one I want to work with. The consistent person that just wants to feel better and is willing to put in the time. That's
Translation, working with Dylan.
Hey,
Okay.
Dylan, I was going to say part of this journey of success is surrounding yourself with good people. So I'll be on the look for some good people for you.
Yeah, it's not me.
Yeah, it's
Anyway.
definitely not Vince.
No. Okay.
Luckily, I have my dog.
Okay. Well, we look forward to Tyler, you're up next week. We're looking forward to getting to work and grinding. Who knows? I may even take off a couple ounces by working with you.
Hey,
We'll see.
Sounds good. And Vince, we'll be calling you from San Diego next Saturday. So
awesome.
Maybe I can deal with the surf report.
Oh, yes, that's right. The Beachin' with Beal. That's right up the coast from you. Okay. Thanks so much, Jen Mayer. Nutritionist Tyler Mayer, fitness guru. They make up the husband-wife team of Weekly Wellness. Thanks so much, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.
Thanks,
All
guys.
right. Joining us on the line is broadcaster from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism, Michael Garaffa. Michael.
Hey, Vince, how you doing?
I'm great. Michael, I thought of you, obviously, because you do a lot of work. You're a big baseball nut, Major League Baseball. You love baseball. You do broadcasts for us on games that we cover and teams. And we have a couple of minutes, and I wanted to get your take I guess we talked about this, not necessarily a fan's perspective on what's going on with the lockout, but we talked about getting a perspective, and we got a couple minutes to get your opinion on what's going on with the lockout.
Yeah, so the lockout is now in day 94. We are over 3 months into this thing, and there seems to be no end in sight as both the owners and the players have dug their heels in pretty deep. And after about a week-long of negotiations, we got a little bit closer to the possibility of baseball returning. MLB made their last and final offer where they made some jumps from where they initially were, but they were really nowhere near where the players wanted them to be, with some luxury tax issues coming in the way, with the owners really not wanting to go much above $220 million, and the players don't want to go below $230. Minimum salary's been a big issue. But out of those things that we had been hearing of during that week of negotiations, to me the biggest problem that now is in front of us is that the Players Association said that for games that are going to be canceled this year, they want to be reimbursed for those somehow,
Wow.
or they want them to be played. So that now leads to another layer of negotiations that could be very contentious because the owners don't want that, and I don't think the owners come anywhere close to agreeing to that.
Amazing. And so it's obviously it's 90% about money and that and only that and a small percentage about other things, but it's hurting the fans, it's hurting the game. Hopefully they'll get this thing resolved soon. Do you see an end in sight?
See, I was the one optimist who was saying, oh, this is going to end Monday night, last Monday when they had the deadline. I felt really confident, and they came from what we had heard through reporting, they came close, even though we found out afterwards they really didn't. But now I'm taking the pessimist approach because I'd rather not be hurt. I'd rather feel better about it. So I'm just going with the really doomsday approach of there won't be baseball this year.
Yeah.
But I'd say what the realistic approach is, I would say we'll probably have baseball around mid-May because once we get through canceling games in April, that's when the owners are going to start really losing money because they announced that the owners can still not play games for about a month season and still make money, but once that goes away, they're going to start really losing money fast. So I think that's when we see both sides start to come together. Once they come to that agreement, then I think we start playing games maybe mid-May, maybe early June.
All right, Michael Garaffa. Michael, thanks so much, and you host your own podcast, and we look forward to circling back with you. Nice work, my friend.
Absolutely. Thank you, Vince.
All right. Michael Garaffa, Walter Cronkite School of Journalism. He's a great guy, great broadcaster, an up-and-coming star in the business, and got a great report from him, big baseball nut. When we come back, we will be joined by Saguaro SaberCat baseball coach Joe Mickey with the SaberCat Baseball Report right after the break, and joined in studio by my old friends here, Sal Navarro, and my arch nemesis, Dylan Weinmiller when we come back. Dylan, what do you think so far?
I'm loving it. I
Yeah,
think
it's not
that
McDonald's. Okay.
I think that this glass and this table are saving you quite a bit.
Yeah, reaching across it and strangling me. All right, folks, when we come back, SaberCat Report, go Varsity.
Monday nights from 7 to 8 p.m. It's James Out West featuring Ryan Brooks as the duo breaks down the NFL, NBA, and the local sports scene here on KDUS AM 1060.
Are you unable to do the things you love? Do you know your daily habits could be better to enhance your quality of life? Are you suffering with chronic pain or chronic illness and can't find the right solution that works for you? Fix Body Group was created so you have a team of professionals to help you achieve your health goals and get you back to doing what you love again. In Scottsdale, go to fixbodygroup.com or call 480-795-5329. Fix Body Group, proud partners of the Varsity Sports Show and Fitness Minute with Tyler Mayer. The Varsity Sports Show is proud to partner with SaberCat Athletics. That's right, the Scottsdale Saguaro SaberCats are on the Varsity Sports Show. Join the varsity team as we cover the Cats during the SaberCat Report on Saturday morning's Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona, featuring players, coaches, and commentary. Look out for live stream coverage of Saguaro SaberCat sporting events by going to YouTube and searching for Varsity Sports Show, then click that subscribe button to stay up to date. The Saguaro SaberCats are here. Training Better Athletes was founded by renowned football coach Ron Sowers with the philosophy of training well-rounded young people in mind and body. TBA is the go-to for middle schoolers through the pros. Coach Sowers has worked with all sports but specializes in football offensive and defensive line skills training. Whether it's one-on-one or group training, reach out to Coach Sowers at trainingbetterAthletes.com or call him at 602-435-9064. You can't cheat the grind.
Hey there, I'm Sam Valenti, and here on the Varsity Sports Show, I'll be bringing you all the excitement you can handle. In front of the camera, the Saguaro basketball team is very underrated, and I think that the SaberCats are going to make some noise this season. And on the mic, Lyle gets the ball, and he pops the three, and it's good! You can see me and hear me on the Varsity Sports Show. Have a golden day.
I'll turn those picks into gold. Wall-to-wall NFL coverage and the biggest stories coming to you from 3 to 5 p.m. The Rich Eisen Show here on KDUS AM 1060 and KDUS1060.com.
The Varsity Sports Show presents the SaberCat Report with Saguaro High School baseball coach Joe Mickey. And now, here's the SaberCat Report.
I ain't watching TV today. Bad music.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show here on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. Vince Delicio joined in studio today by a couple of, I don't ever want anybody to accuse me of not giving to the less fortunate, and when I say less fortunate, I don't mean people that have less than me because I have very little, but I'm talking about maybe people that are socially awkward or, maybe struggle in large groups of people and just can't really conduct themselves in a professional way. And I'm doing that today with having my friend, old friend Dylan Weinmiller here in the studio. So
I'm thinking about starting a GoFundMe sympathy fund to pay for my treatments.
You actually had the nerve to tell people that you were being bullied.
Anyone want to light up the phone lines and give your comments?
Yeah, or whatever. Anyway, and also, obviously also joined by another friend from the neighborhood, Sal Navarro. Sal, you having fun so far?
I am. The biggest issue I'm having is I'm running out of ink here in my pen. I didn't realize I was going to a roast of Dylan Weinmiller.
Yeah,
so I'm trying to write jokes as fast as I can here and get them off. But
awesome.
It's a great time. Thank you.
All right. So joining us on the line, we do have a regular segment here. It's called the SaberCat Report, and it's with Saguaro SaberCat head baseball coach Joe Mickey. Coach Mickey, how you doing, sir?
I'm well, Vince. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, thank you. I can hear a little bit of laughter in your voice there. You get around guys from the neighborhood. I mean, that thing kind of happens. It goes south very fast, or you end up you end up coming out and really doing a good thing. I feel like I'm doing a good thing today, though.
Oh, I absolutely love it, man. I think that's part of the fun. I don't think it's fun unless you're bringing everybody along for the ride.
Yeah. So you had quite the week. You upset the state champion Desert Mountain Wolves early in the week and had a nice win, a shutout victory. And then last night, things kind of went the other way, but you were competitive throughout. Break down your week.
Yeah, it's probably one of the highlights, when we get to play other Scottsdale schools, kind of like you were talking about. I mean, all these kids know these kids from the neighborhood, and so you just feel that adrenaline. From a Desert Mountain standpoint, DeCesaro pitched unbelievable, gave us a great chance to win, and even Caminiti pitched lights out yesterday with the 13 strikeouts, and you're leading that game 2-0 through 4, and but just the adrenaline of it, the fun of it. I mean, these kids grow up together playing ball against these guys, and I coach against these guys for, a number of years, and so it's a lot of fun. Truthfully, Vince, I mean, we hate losing that game last night, but, it's really what high school athletics, high school baseball is all about. It's just being in competitive games, and they just made a few more plays than us last night, and we made a few more plays than Desert Mountain earlier in the week, and that's part of the enjoyment of watching these guys kind of grow.
Well, and last night's game was it was at Chaparral. So again, you mentioned playing the rival Scottsdale schools, Desert Mountain, early in the week, and then Chaparral last night. It was a great environment for baseball last night. It was nice and cool out. A lot of people out for Friday, and it was great. 6 p.m. First pitch. But you mentioned a couple of kids. Let's talk about those kids. So Thomas DeCesaro, who's a senior this year, he was a stud on the football field, arguably the best free safety in high school football this year in the state of Arizona, translating to playing, having a heck of a baseball career for you.
No, he's. He even on top of that, he was our region pitcher of the year last year. Beat the state champion, Mesquite Wildcats. Gave them their only loss last season as a region pitcher of the year, and then this year, kind of picked up right where he left off. And I'm just hopeful he finds a place that offers him the opportunity to do both for as long as he can, because academically he's a 4.6 student, and when you combine that with what he does in a couple different fields, it's pretty impressive to watch him compete and just and do it at a high level.
And then the other one, am I seeing things here? Caminiti, is he a freshman?
A freshman, and everything, it's unbelievable. A lot of hype, obviously, coming into our season and where he's at in his young career, but just takes it all in stride, and just a terrific young man, but just a really special talent. I mean, the ball just kind of jumps out of his hand. If you watching last night, he's making some really, really good hitters look really, really off balance, and it's just it's pretty special for a freshman to be able to have that kind of composure. And again, knowing all those guys and knowing your buddies and still being able to go out there and do what you do is pretty fun to watch.
Well, and looking through your rosters, a couple other guys, some names that I remember very, very clearly from last season. Tanner Nelson, you got Miles Crutchley, even Aiden Bronska. Talk a little bit about those guys and how they're contributing this season.
No, and that's the thing. I mean, I love our lineup, our core group. I mean, Tanner, behind the plate, and Aiden and Miles. I mean, Miles we didn't have until really the end of last year, and man, what a cornerstone piece for the middle of our lineup. And we're just trying to find our footing where everybody's going at the right time. I mean, every game we have one or two of those guys kind of taking the lead, and it's going to be pretty special to watch when all 4 or 5 of them get going at the same time. And we're getting there. But yeah, you just nailed the head as far as what this core group is and the role players around those guys.
Yeah, and Aiden Bronska, obviously, he's getting some hits out there too. He's quite an infielder as well.
No, definitely playing great baseball. I mean, he's a middle infield. I mean, we talk about that, the leader at the middle, and definitely been a guy who we know is in a great spot in our lineup, and definitely just somebody who's going to give us a great opportunity to do his job and keep the lineup moving and knock in some runs. And so, it's again fun to watch these guys kind of play together and grow together. But we're still pretty young, because that's kind of the nucleus of our at bats coming back. And then you're talking, okay, so that's about, 40, 60, 70 at-bats from those guys a piece, and then, well, that's it. And so now we have all these other guys who are kind of getting their feet wet and trying to catch up to where those guys are at.
Well, Coach, you got a couple of days rest here, and I know obviously you're going to be practicing, so not a lot of rest, but rest before your next game, which will be Thursday. You guys host another familiar foe in Sal Point Catholic, and so you're going to have your hands full.
Oh, man, I tell you, that's the strength of our schedule, right? I mean, you talk about playing the 5A state champs, a 6A state champ contender in Chap, and then a 4A state finalist and state champion 2 years ago in Sal Point. We find out how good we are, and even our tournament stuff that we do, Vince, I tell these guys all the time, we're playing the best baseball with the best baseball in the state of Arizona. And that's the only way I want it. We're going to play those teams because that's where we find out how good we are. And I know we're capable and been in all these games. So, we're right there from 1 or 2 being possibly like 4-1, so that's how these things kind of go as far as an overall record. But you tell me we're 1-1 after a week of baseball like that, I'm a happy camper and getting ready for Tucson to come to our yard.
All right, that's the SaberCat report with Saguaro SaberCat head baseball coach Joe Mickey. Coach, great talking to you. We'll circle back next week.
Sounds good. Really appreciate you, Vince, and enjoy the time with the buddies.
All right.
Continued success, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, joining us on the line, go ahead, Aaron.
It's time for the Recruiting Spotlight, sponsored by My Recruits and Coach Perot.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show here, AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona, joined on the line by our broadcaster, field correspondent, high school beat writer, Nick Hogan, with the My Recruits Recruiting Spotlight. Nick, take it away.
Awesome. To start, that Saguaro baseball team is so fun to watch. So with that being said, let's start with the recruiting spotlight. Today we're going to be talking about a 6'1", 190-pound quarterback from Red Mountain High School, class of 2020 kid, Hiram Boren. And the first thing you might say when you hear that is, Nick, why are we talking about a guy from the class of 2020? It's 2022 now. Well, Boren is actually on an LDS mission right now. He left in July of 2020, and he served. With the way LDS missions went after COVID, a lot of their original mission calls had them serving foreign places, but they had to take a little bit of a detour until visas could be approved and foreign travel was back up. So he was in Everett, Washington until November of 2021, but he's currently in Buenos Aires, Argentina right now, and he'll be coming back this May. So he's been gone for a couple years, but that really doesn't take away from what he's done on the football field, as he had a pretty impressive senior year back in 2020. But he was the captain of his football team in his high school by unanimous vote. He's the oldest of 6 kids, so you can really see that natural leadership. And he's had the opportunity to play both sides of the ball, which is super rare for quarterbacks. He actually broke his arm his junior year of high school, and he had to sit on the sideline, and that was really just driving him crazy. And he was asking his coaches, like, hey, how can I get on the field? And they actually had him go in as scout team linebacker with a broken arm. That only lasted for 1 practice. He took the starting job and ended up leading the team in tackles that year, which is absolutely insane, for a quarterback. And he really put on a ton of muscle, ended up squatting 505 pounds, benching 315, runs a 4.65, and that led to him having a great year at quarterback. His senior year, where he led the state in passing yards, took his team to the state championship and lost in overtime, posted a 3.8 GPA, so a smart kid as well. And really, according to Coach Perone, all those traits are just those intangibles, what makes him such a good prospect. But from my film study, his physical attributes are great as well. Plays a super confident style football. He's very elusive. Most of the great throws he makes are outside the pocket, down the field, great out of the play action. Super mobile quarterback. And he's already got offers to Air Force, Navy, and NAU. He has been gone for a while on his mission. It'll be interesting to see if that will help or worsen his case. But, there are a lot of guys in the NFL now. Look at Daniel Sorensen, Taysom Hill, Garrett Bowles as guys who have served missions and come back really physically developed and ready to play at a higher level. So it'll be super interesting to see if he can hit that high potential that he has based on his physical attributes.
Awesome. Hiram Boren, the feature out of Red Mountain's class of 2020, been on a mission, and he's a quarterback, talented, some offers out there, looking forward to continuing to track his progress. Nice job, Nick. Thanks for the recruiting spotlight, sponsored by My Recruits. Folks, when we come back, we will be joined by Nick Hall with a special feature on a Blue Ridge student, athlete, Kentucky baseball commit Seth Chavez. Right here on the Varsity Sports Show when we come back, and still joined in studio. You going to stick around, Dylan?
I'm here for the long haul.
Oh, man. Okay, that's too bad. All right, we'll be back after the break. Don't go anywhere, folks. Go Varsity.
Somebody's got to walk you to the parking lot.
Check out the Doug Gottlieb Show, Monday through Friday, 1 to 3 p.m., right here on KDUS AM 1060.
Hi, my name is Geraldine Torellis, and I'm with the Varsity Sports Show. I am currently a graduate student at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication at Arizona State University, and I will be hosting the Spring Spotlight Series. As someone who grew up here in Arizona, I am very excited to cover stories on local nonprofit organizations and charities that are doing great work throughout the Valley. Join me this spring to see what fellow Arizona residents are doing to better serve our community and help others.
Pinnacle Pain and Spine's team of professionals are ready to help with that nagging head, neck, back pain, and arthritis with proven treatment as soon as your first visit. Dr. Matthew Crooks and his friendly team have the highest consumer ratings in trust, friendliness, and easy scheduling. They work with most insurance plans. With locations in Scottsdale, Chandler, and Fountain Hills, PinnaclePainAZ.com or call 480-407-6400. Proud partner of the Varsity Sports Show and Fitness Minute with Tyler Mayer.
Welcome to the Jaguar Nation. The Varsity Sports Show is proud to partner up with Canyon View High School in the West Valley to be the voice of Jaguar athletics. Tune in on Saturdays to hear the Jaguar Nation, featuring coaches, students, and staff between 9 and 10 a.m. on AM 1060 KDUS, and subscribe to the Varsity Sports Show YouTube channel to get free exclusive coverage of Canyon View sporting events. Welcome to the Jaguar Nation.
Jack it up.
Bringing you the latest sports topics weekly right here on KDUS AM 1060 with me, the Doug Gottlieb Show, 1 to 3 p.m.
From a very young age, Pinetop native Seth Chavez was ingrained with the love of baseball. He knew that he wanted baseball to be a part of his life regardless of his future.
Ever since I've been little, it's always been baseball, baseball, baseball. Gradually growing up, you figure out, okay, like, I'm good. You keep playing, you're like, okay, I'm still good. Then you start separating yourself a little bit. I think work ethic has kind of shaped me into, like, the baseball player I am today.
Seth started his college career at Eastern Arizona, where he continued to work hard trying to chase his dream.
He was someone that never deviated from his routine. He was in the training room every day. Every day I got reports from our trainers saying that he has been coming in just maintaining his body, and I feel like he took pride in the way he presented himself.
After his time at Eastern Arizona, where his season was cut short due to COVID, Seth transferred to Eastern Tennessee State, where he continued to grow until he hurt his throwing arm in a game, requiring him to need Tommy John surgery.
That was like probably one of the worst pains I've had, just kind of shot up my whole arm, and for like that first couple months, it's brutal. Can't do anything with your right hand, kind of letting everything set.
After having Tommy John surgery, Seth put his name into the transfer portal. From his time at Eastern Tennessee State, he developed enough film to be noticed by several Division I schools. He recently committed to Kentucky, and speaking with Seth's dad, he told me he and his wife got more emotional than Seth ever did. But he said he is grateful that Seth hasn't tried to put himself above the game.
One of the best parts last year, they had a Little League day, if you want to call it that, in Johnson City at East Tennessee State. As soon as the game was over, they're down there with their hats, with their gloves, with the balls, whatever, asking for autographs. And Seth is one of a couple of kids that stayed and signed autographs. The best part was one of the ladies behind us, a parent of these kids, asked, is that your kid, number 19? And it was, yes, ma'am, that's our kid. And she and her family stopped what they were doing to thank my wife and I, that Seth was doing that. And all we've ever told him is don't try to be above the game. Remember, you were that little kid once that looked up to these guys.
Seth once looked up to players the same way he has young athletes from northern Arizona looking up to him. He is currently finishing up rehab for his arm here in Phoenix and plans to return to Kentucky later this year. Seth is the first person in his immediate family to receive his bachelor's degree, and he got his degree in exercise science in just 3.5 years. He plans on starting his master's program at Kentucky when he returns later this year. If he does so, he will be just the second person in his entire family to receive a master's degree. In Phoenix, for the Varsity Sports Show, I'm Nick Hall.
Thanks, Nick. Great report. Congratulations to Seth Chavez and his family headed to University of Kentucky. And great job, great young man. And that video report will be dropped on YouTube, I believe at noon today. So you can head over to our YouTube channel at Varsity Sports Show and pull that up and subscribe, and you'll get automatic alerts as well. Joining us online, so another one of our team, our broadcast and production team. He's an outstanding director for us as well, Bailey Leisure. Bailey's had a chance to see some state championship AIA basketball this week out at the Veterans Memorial Coliseum, the Madhouse on McDowell. Bailey, what do you got for us?
How's it going, Ben?
Great.
I guess probably my biggest takeaway and probably the game that stood out was the final game of the state championships this week, which is the 6A basketball game between the Perry Pumas and the Hamilton Huskies. That was the third time that they had played each other this season, and it was somewhat surprisingly a low-scoring game, and the Pumas were able to come out with the victory 48-38.
Wow. Anything in particular that stood out about that game besides it being low scoring, a defensive effort? Anything you noticed? Any of the kids, outstanding players?
My player of the game for the Pumas was his name is Koa Pete. Had a really great game. He had 14 points, 6 rebounds, 2 blocks.
Wow.
Kind of seemed like toward the end of the game, it kind of came down to who was able to get to the line. Get to the free throw line, and Pumas were able to get to the line and hang on for the victory.
Basketball is a very physical sport. It takes a great deal of athleticism. Dylan, you never even so much as stepped inside a gymnasium in your life, have you?
You need to backstep those comments. I was a basketball player growing up, believe it or not.
What happened?
Yeah, I grew.
You grew, yes. You're kind of the wrong way.
I
But
could
anyway.
start affording some better meals, more food.
Yeah, okay, all right. Bailey, so you were there every night of the championships, right? You saw some girls' games too, didn't you?
Yeah. Actually, speaking of that, the girls basketball team for Perry was in the championship game as well. Unfortunately, they came up short against Valley Vista. Valley Vista kind of just ran away with that game in the second half.
Yeah. A lot of people in attendance?
I would say so. I mean, I prior to covering those games, I've never been to that arena. So over the week, I'd say the crowd's kind of varied.
Saw my first concert at Veterans Memorial Coliseum back in 1983. Ronnie James Dio.
Nice.
Yeah,
Old
I think
school.
it was just $10.50 for a ticket back then. When I was, my mom dropped us off. I think I was maybe 12 at the time, but it was a great time. What about you, Dylan? You've been.
You know what? I don't know the first concert. I grew up in a musical family, so we were going to. But one of my favorite Veteran Memorial Coliseum stories is Kenny Rogers throwing out a signed Frisbee.
Yeah.
And my mother getting into a full-blown cat fight with another lady over that Frisbee.
Oh, my God.
That Frisbee survived our house until we got a Doberman who played with it and ruined it. But, I mean, a full-blown cat fight over this glow-in-the-dark
Kenny Rogers,
autographed
my God.
Frisbee.
Yeah, and you had to have liked Kenny Rogers for his chicken, too, right?
Hey, forgot he had chicken.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
We grew up on Pioneer, OJ's chicken.
Yeah. What about you, Sal?
First concert actually was at the Coliseum. Our family had an ice cream business at that time, and so I was really young, maybe 7 or 8 years old, and I remember my dad took us, my brother and I, to a Kiss concert.
Oh.
And when you're 8 years old and you see these teenagers back then dressed in the full Kiss garb, I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified the whole night. I wouldn't leave my dad's side the whole night, but that was my first concert.
Yeah, it explains a lot, right?
But that was my first concert. I can also vouch for Dill. I think I being a friend of his for so long, I think I did see that Frisbee at one point in time.
I have to ask you now, again, we're I'm trying not to be superficial here, but Dylan, you mentioned an ice cream business. Is that why you guys were friends? Because your dad owned an ice cream business and Dylan was buddying up to you?
Yeah, it could have been. Now looking back, Vince, it might have been the reason.
Okay. I was a regular.
Yeah. Is he still? He looks like it. You're disgusting. Anyway, okay. So, again, folks, 4 agreements. Don't take anything too personally. That's number 2. We're having fun. I don't need calls and emails attacking me. I'm sorry, unless it's in good fun. Bailey, you didn't think that this was going to turn into an all-in-out war of words here. You were just calling in to give us a basketball report. So any other observations from the week? It was probably amazing to get out and see all those people out there once again, right?
Yeah, it was. Probably going back to the Perry Hamilton game, that it was a big win for Coach Sammy Dwayne Jr. and his team. That was Coach Dwayne's 5th state championship. His first with Perry.
Wow.
Back several years ago, he was the head coach at Corona del Sol, and he actually won 4 straight 6A state championships. So it was definitely a big win for the program and for Coach Dwayne winning that first championship with Perry.
Awesome. All right, Bailey Leisure, director, producer for the Varsity Sports Show. Thanks so much for calling in and for that great summary, Bailey. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, man.
Dylan, I want to ask you. So, in all seriousness, now we are friends. We were friends before this morning. You coach for a lot of years, and you've helped a lot of young people. We were outside talking before the show, and you were going through a list of people that you ran into through the years, and kids, and that you talked to, and so you're passionate about. That's one of the great things about you is that you're passionate about working with kids. You were a coach for how many years?
15 total, but off and on, probably put about 22 in just various roles and things like that. But 15 years in the Phoenix Union District.
And you were a head football coach. You were at Fairfax High School, Betty Fairfax out in Levine. So
Absolutely.
And you had quite a run. You had some playoff games. You were a defensive coordinator for them out there.
Yeah. We had again, everything.
You were a track coach as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We had some pretty good success. We'd obviously look back on things and hope that some things went maybe a little differently and here and there, and you learn on the fly and whatnot. But and I think the Perry coach is a disciple of Coach Urey, and I heard Coach Urey speak once at Coach B's memorial, and he said, "Life's about relationships and memories," and that has always stuck with me from that point forward. And so, whether I made good decisions, bad decisions, whether I helped a kid, didn't help a kid, whatever the feedback was from outsiders, even within our program, the one thing I can say, in my whole heart is that we tried, at least at that point, to try to do our best. Everything we did was for our kids. And it didn't matter if it was the best kid or the kid that, nobody kind of knew who he was or whatever. We actually treated everybody the exact same. Again, you live and learn, and but I wouldn't take back anything, that we did. However, I think that we missed some opportunities to do a little bit better here and there, and that goes from adults all the way down to our kids. But we had a great administration, we had a great school community, we had a lot of support. I had some great years. I spent 11 at Fairfax.
Wow,
and had some great relationships. And same with my 5 years total at North. Again, just, my heart's with Phoenix Union. My heart's with the inner city and helping who I can, when I can.
When we come back from the break, thank you for that. And we will be joined continuously here through the rest of the show for hour number 2 with our co-hosts Sal Navarro and Dylan Weinmiller. And Inside the Huddle with Arizona Rattlers wide receiver Isaiah Houston. And Coach Mark Houston joining us after the break. Stick around, folks. Go Varsity. Thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show. Our mission is to empower education and enable dreams, creating a platform to promote young people in extracurricular activities and community outreach. If you are interested in partnering up with the Varsity Sports Show, find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or call or text us at 480-779-9437. The Varsity Sports Show, Arizona's home for youth, high school, college, and you.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
The Let It Fly Football Drills and Skills Camp is intense and rigorous, designed to improve skill levels for kids ages 7 to 14. Drills target hand and eye coordination, footwork, speed, agility, and quickness. Instruction from current and former professional and college athletes. Go to letitflyfootballcamp.com for more information. The Let It Fly Football Drills and Skills Camp is a proud sponsor of the Varsity Sports Show's IFL Report with Arizona Rattlers wide receiver Isaiah Houston. Are you unable to do the things you love? Do you know your daily habits could be better to enhance your quality of life? Are you suffering with chronic pain or chronic illness and can't find the right solution that works for you? Fix Body Group was created so you have a team of professionals to help you achieve your health goals and get you back to doing what you love again. In Scottsdale, go to fixbodygroup.com or call 480-795-5329. Fix Body Group, proud partners of the Varsity Sports Show and Fitness Minute with Tyler Mayer.
Hello everyone, I'm Griffin Greenberg and I'm thrilled to join the Varsity Sports Show team. I will be covering something never covered before in the history of Varsity Sports Show, prep basketball. Arizona showcases some of the top high school prep basketball in the nation and has sent men's and women's hoopers to multiple top-tier colleges and even professional leagues. Join me on the ride as I take a deep dive into the scenes of some of the top competition in high school hoops in Arizona.
KDUS AM 1060 Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix is brought to you by AC by J, Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Drains.
This program is paid for by the JV Sports LLC and its partners.
You're listening to the Varsity Sports Show, home of Arizona's youth, high school, college sports, and you, empowering education and enabling dreams, right here on KDUS AM 1060 in Arizona. And now, welcome to the Varsity Sports Show.
It's time for Inside the Huddle with Arizona Rattlers wide receiver Isaiah Houston on the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show here on AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona. For hour number 2, Vince Delicio joined by my in-studio co-host for today, Sal Navarro, and the infamous Dylan Weinmiller from the neighborhood. Sal, you made an observation. So we'd been picking on him all, I say me. We had been picking on him all show long, but then we saw a human side of him at the end of the last segment. And what realization did you get from that?
Knowing Dill as I do, a lot of people don't realize how wonderful he is with the kids themselves. But everyone thinks is a coach with a whistle and a clipboard, but Dill's a lot more than that. So it kind of reminded me earlier, we were making the references to Shrek. And I said, it kind of reminds you of the part in Shrek where his wife or girlfriend turns from an ogre to a regular woman.
Yeah.
So I kind of think I looked at Dill a little bit differently right now because he does do a wonderful job with the kids.
He's still an ogre.
Yeah. Wait, so now I'm a woman on top of that?
Yeah.
That's great.
Joining us on the line for Inside the Huddle with Arizona Rattlers wide receiver Isaiah Houston is Isaiah's dad, Coach Mark Houston, from the Let It Fly Football Drills and Skills Camp. Coach Houston, good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you, gentlemen?
Good morning.
Good. Thanks for asking.
We're doing great. Coach, what's going on today?
Well, I would like to take the audience a little bit inside of the first week of the Indoor Football League's training camp with the Arizona Rattlers. So we'll get right to it. So on Tuesday, the players reported to camp, and on that day, they received their equipment, and they had to take a flexibility test. And then that evening, they had their team meeting, team dinner, where the coaches and the owner get with the players, and the players are also introduced to the director of security of the Rattlers, Les Skelton, and he's a former 20-year police officer with the Arizona Department of Public Safety, and he talks to the players about, obviously, the do's and the don'ts and how you should conduct yourself as a professional athlete. On Wednesday, the players had to take their baseline test for concussions, and then on Thursday, the players got after it, and the first official practice got underway. Rattler players are reporting at 7:45 in the morning, and then heading out the doors at approximately 5:45 p.m., so they're putting in a long day of practices, meetings, special teams, and position meetings with their coaches. Friday, another day of practice. And now today, they've actually begun to implement their special teams. And so Isaiah, right now, as we're speaking, he is actually out on the field and is being looked at as a possible kick returner to be part of the special teams unit with the 2022 season getting underway 2 weeks from today. So the Rattlers season opener will be their home opener, and that will be Saturday night, March 19th at 6 p.m. at the Snake Pit. And we want to encourage all of Rattler Nation and anybody else out there who hasn't taken in a Rattlers game yet to get behind the team as they look to accomplish and achieve their 7th World Championship. Tomorrow, players will have off, and then they'll be right back at it again on Monday. And another little inside scoop for you, if you will.
Yeah.
40 players report to camp. They will keep those 40 players through next Saturday. And then next Saturday, when practice concludes, that roster of 40 will be taken down to 25. And then each week, with the Rattlers playing 8-on-8, that roster will be 22 guys suited up, of which they will carry 4 receivers on game day, and one of those 4 receivers is looked upon as more of a special teams person, with the other 3 being in the offense on any set play. And right now the Rattlers are carrying 8 wide receivers in practice in training camp. So Isaiah is one of 8, and they will cut that down to 6. And there's a whole lot of competition going on, and I know that the Rattlers' mindset in practice, they tell the players that you need to win each rep so that in a game you're winning on every play. And so it's highly competitive, got a great bunch of talented players out there, and Isaiah's reporting to me each day and telling me that he's very, very excited and he's looking forward to another championship run.
Joined on the line by the father of Arizona Rattlers wide receiver Isaiah Houston. Isaiah has become quite the cult legend here in town. You know, he grew up here in Phoenix, attended Boulder Creek High School in Anthem, was an outstanding player, and transitioned that to junior college football, played at Phoenix College. When I was coaching there, fortunately had a chance to coach. You don't coach a guy like that, but I have the honor of saying I coached him. And then transitioned to Arizona State University, was there for a season, then ended up moving out to Arizona Christian University, kept grinding, and now he's a professional football player. I got to believe, Coach, that Isaiah, he's quite the utility guy. He's coming in and he's saving the organization not only in personnel spots for everything that he can do, but he's also saving them a lot of money because they don't have to fill other roster spots for all the things he brings to the table. In a scrimmage, he rushed for a couple touchdowns on a jet sweep, so he's part running back. He's kick returner. He's a receiver. What doesn't he do?
Well, I know that he can't serve up lunch, so that's one of the things.
He can't cook.
Okay. He can't cook very well, but I want to also let people know out here in our audience that once the season kicks off, Coach, Isaiah will continue to be offering his Wednesday night from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. individualized training program, and he's working with kids ages 8 through college, and his alma mater of Arizona Christian University has afforded him their field, and so that is starting to gain some tread, and he's picking up more and more players to work with. So if parents want to contact Isaiah, they can reach him on Twitter at Isaiah Houston 7. They can find him on Instagram _I Houston 7. And they can also contact me on Twitter at Coach Houston. And my number is 623-498-0577. But parents are starting to now ask, once the season gets underway, will Isaiah continue to offer that training? The answer is yes. Wednesday nights, 5 to 6, Arizona Christian University.
Heck of a football player. Guys, young people, girls, boys, if you want some skills training in wide receiver play from a real pro football player, you don't have to go any further than Isaiah Houston, and it's Houston. Isaiah Houston, outstanding young man, great person, well-grounded in his faith and just in his outreach, and he absolutely no chip on his shoulder. He'll work with anybody that wants to put in the work. That's the only requirement. If you want to work, this is the guy you talk to. If you don't want to work, don't even bother. And Isaiah is the guy. And he's such a great guy.
And one other quick thing, Coach. I know we're pressed for time, so I'll make it quick. Our 18th annual Let It Fly football drills and skills camp will kick off the first Saturday in June. We will be offering our camp for kids 7 to 14 on Saturday mornings, 8 to 10:30 a.m. And Isaiah has been working that camp for years. He's the logo of the camp, started doing the drills when he was 5 years old with me. And we will be offering that again starting the first Saturday in June. People can go to letitflyfootballcamp.com, or again, they can call me at 623-498-0577. And in regards to Dylan there in the studio, we're always looking for people that want to give back to the community, work with kids. So if Dylan's interested in working at the camp,
wow, look at that.
We would love to have him become part of the staff, and I'll teach him what he needs to know, and we'll let him work with the youth.
I appreciate that, Coach.
Wow,
Thank
job
you very
offer.
much.
Who'd have thought, Dylan? You come in here and get insulted a little bit, and you get a job offer out of it. All right.
Because of my kindness.
Yeah. Thanks, Coach. Coach Mark Houston, father of Arizona Rattlers wide receiver Isaiah Houston. Coach, we're looking forward to circling back with Isaiah next week. Thanks again.
Thank you, Coach. Have a great day.
Thanks, Coach. Good stuff.
All right, go Rattlers.
I'm Kayla Marina. I'm here with the Varsity Sports Show. Today, I'm here with Coach Vance Miller, the new coach, head football coach of Mesquite High School. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So we just have a couple questions. So you first started coaching at Apache Junction, correct? And you were there for 6 years?
Well, I was the head coach there for 6 years. Before that, I was the defensive coordinator for a year. And that's actually kind of the second half of my coaching career. I started coaching in Valley here at Saguaro High School back in 1994. So I've been coaching for about 28 years and had some time at Desert Mountain and Paradise Valley, and then at Apache Junction. And then that's when I got started as a head coach. And then I was head coach there, and then at Arcadia for a year, and then over here at Mesquite.
Awesome. You're ready for Mesquite, right? All right.
Oh, absolutely. I came on this past season as an assistant for Scott Hare, who did a phenomenal job. He led the team to 2 state championships, and then we made it to the semifinals this past year. So, big shoes to fill, and he left a great legacy here. So I'm hoping to continue the winning traditions and put my little twist on it. And by actually coming in here for this past year has been great, because I already knew the kids, I already knew the program and the administration, and I also do teach here on campus. So I know my way around, and so it was a great fit for me.
Good. What do you teach there?
Well, usually in my past, I was more of a PE guy and weight training, but I'm also certified in science. So I'm actually teaching earth science here at Mesquite. Next year might be a little more phased into the weight room and the football classes and things like that, but that's yet to be determined. But I'm enjoying what I'm doing.
Awesome. So with your teaching at Mesquite, how is the connection with all the players with the students who are going to be your players? Do you have a great connection with them already?
Oh, absolutely. It really helped being here for that year, kind of not just understanding the pulse of the football program, but understanding the pulse of the community and the kids in the classroom. And the kids had an opportunity to see 2 sides of me, so to speak, but also kind of understand that how I am as a person in the classroom is the same person they see out on the field. Maybe I just have a little more room to get a little louder and a little more fiery when I'm outside, but getting to know the kids in the classroom, and they see what I'm all about as a well-rounded teacher and coach. I think that helped build some connections and some relationships and understanding of each other. So when I was chosen for the position, the kids were pretty excited, and they a lot of them I have in class, and so they were kind of waiting every day, asking, what's the decision, and so when it was finally made, they were pretty excited, and everybody stops by my class to see me. So
that's so exciting. So what kind of strategies did you have in the past coaching at previous high schools, and then how are you going to carry those over to Mesquite?
Well, I'll tell you, the first thing I want to say is that what I've learned is that every high school is different. It's a horse, but it's a horse of a different color. And you get a different type of kids, different type of families, different types of upbringing. And I think I've learned to be a little more flexible and still follow in what my beliefs and my traditions are, but be able to adapt a little better to the type of kids that I'm coaching. I grew up in a military house, so everything was very structured, very regimented. I do bring a lot of that structure and regimentation to my life. I try to carry a little bit over the kids, but I understand that this is not the military. So I just want them to be able to understand and learn self-discipline and communication and be able to plan and plan for their futures. So when it comes to a strategic standpoint, that's kind of what we're looking at there. One of the other things too that I've learned is that loyalty goes a long way. Being loyal to the kids, they're loyal to you. Being loyal to your coaches, they're loyal to you. Some of the coaches from the previous staff are staying on with me, and coaches that have worked with me over the past 25 years are some people I haven't heard from in a while. They want to come coach and they want to be part of what we're doing. So I think that we have a very well-rounded staff, a very well-rounded outlook from the kids. I hope to be able to instill some of that discipline to a point where they're going to work hard. And it's not let's march in line. It's anything like that. I want them just to understand that they can push and they can work hard because they're used to winning. And sometimes when you get used to winning, you start resting on your laurels and you start thinking, well, we're Mesquite, so we're just going to win because we're Mesquite. And I don't want them to get comfortable. So I want to keep them in an uncomfortable position. I want them to keep pushing to get better. And I think that the people that I have on staff are going to be able to do that.
Awesome. So you just kind of touched on what I was going to ask you next, but on the Mesquite Wildcats Athletics Twitter page, they posted a statement that you said, and in that statement, you quoted one of your beliefs are, don't get by, get better.
I could definitely go a little more in detail on that. So don't get by, get better it's something that comes out of my mouth every day. And it's whether I'm talking to my kids or my friends or my family, my coaches. And it's kind of one of those where you wake up in the morning and you make that decision that you're not just going to spin your wheels. You're not going to just go through the motions. You're not just going to get through the day. You're going to find something to get better at, something to accomplish. And so I tell the kids is it doesn't matter if we're on the football field, if we're in the classroom, we're at home. Everything we need to do is to raise that bar and to get better. One of the things I always tell the kids is that if your mom tells you to take out the trash, I want you to get up faster this time to go do it than you did the last time. So get better at it. Make sure that you put it directly in the trash can, not next to the trash can. And it's just the little things like that. And I want them to be able to be productive and respectable citizens as they grow up. It's a simple phrase. We talk about it in practice. If we're in the weight room and we're lifting weights, let's just not just go through the motions. Let's figure out what we can do to turn it up a notch every day.
That's all.
Hey, Phoenix, Doug Gottlieb here. I'm bringing the best sports talk weekdays to you, 1 to 3 p.m., right here on KDUS AM 1060.
Hey guys, Vince here to talk to you about a good friend of mine named Bob Jenkins. Bob is a Marine Corps veteran. Bob and his younger brother DJ own Vets Built Contracting. You've seen their trucks around Metro Phoenix, I'm sure. For 5 years, they've been hiring and putting veterans to work. Vets Built is licensed, bonded, and insured, both residential and commercial, specializing in renovations, remodeling, new build, casitas, safe rooms, or small commercial TI work. If you're a skilled veteran looking for work, a homeowner in need of work, or a commercial business needing TI work, please call Bob or DJ at Vets Built at 480-584-3675. The Varsity Sports Show is proud to partner with SaberCat Athletics. That's right, the Scottsdale Saguaro SaberCats are on the Varsity Sports Show. Join the varsity team as we cover the Cats during the SaberCat Report on Saturday morning's Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona, featuring players, coaches, and commentary. Look out for live stream coverage of Saguaro SaberCat sporting events by going to YouTube and searching for Varsity Sports Show, then click that subscribe button to stay up to date. The Saguaro SaberCats are here.
Hey, this is John Linton with the I Have a Name Project, and Let's Be Better Humans. You're listening to the Varsity Sports Show.
KDUS AM 1060 is the home to the Dan Patrick Show, the Doug Gottlieb Show, and Sports Map Radio. Catch all the sports content here on AM 1060.
It's Lit with Brit, featuring local sports journalist Brittany Boyer on the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona. And now, here's Brit.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show here on AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona. Vince DeLisio, joined by today's co-hosts, Mr. Sal Navarro and some other guy. Some other guy.
It's official. I'm old.
Dylan Weinmiller. And we've got a new segment from an old friend. I've been trying to find ways that I was able to entice her to lend her talents to us because she's all over the place. She's done a lot of work, and she continues to be out there and grind and is just what's it, that old saying, that old adage, if you can't beat them, join them, and that's is perfect for this person. She is one of the most talented sports journalists I've ever met and a rising star, and we are just fortunate to have her, and I can't afford to pay her, but we've got a segment and some nice intro music, and she gets to put her word out there. And Brittany, good morning.
Good morning, Vince.
This is not paid,
quite an
right?
Intro.
Yeah.
You know what? That's okay. Because
Okay.
a lot of the work that I do is not paid, and it's just because I love it. That's
Okay.
why I still work at a restaurant part-time.
Yeah.
So I can afford to do that. But you know what? I make better money working at a restaurant than I do with a master's degree. That's our story for a different day. Because today I want to talk about what I love to do, and that's sports. And specifically go out and find those interesting high school sports stories. And I think, Vince, you and I both know that there has been a really big migration away from the multi-sport athlete in recent years. We've heard a lot about needing to focus on one sport if they're going to get a scholarship, and they need to devote all of their time to that. They can't be doing different things, yada, yada, yada. But I've noticed in the last couple of years, I've really seen a growth in the number of high-level athletes that are really good at one sport that are also crossing over and doing more than one sport again. For example, a couple years back, you had the Hamilton head coach for football take over as the head track coach, and he was saying he wants to get all his players running during the spring because he thinks that it's going to help them. So, Vince, I wanted to know if you've also seen the same trend before I throw out a couple names of some athletes that I've noticed and who to be on the lookout for.
Well, 100%. I mean, the school that we are the broadcast team for, Saguaro High School, is a prime example. You're dealing with a school of 1,400 students. They just won the Open Football Championship, and there's a more than a handful of guys that are multi-sport athletes: football, basketball, football, baseball, track. I mean, it's down the list. And what it comes down to, in my opinion, not, again, it's a quick soapbox moment, is the coaches have to work together. It's the coaches that set the tone, and then the kids will follow. I think that's my opinion. But you have some specifics?
I do. I have a couple of specifics. So one kid that I want to give a huge shout out to, just he has overcome so many obstacles throughout his whole entire career, and his final athletic event just ended at the 2022 state championships for wrestling, Richie McCormick.
Okay.
Not only did he earn himself a scholarship as a linebacker to Shadron State,
wow,
but he also won the 190-pound division for wrestling. And so in his junior year, as you know, the kids from Tucson really did not get to play football at all.
Yeah.
He got to play 2 games, and he wasn't starting. They had the coaching change at Cienega when Pat Nugent left and went over to Micah Mountain. And so Justin Artgraves coming in, he took that as a really great opportunity to build off that. And instead of shying away from it, he ran at it with full force, and he ended up being one of the strongest players for Cienega on the field this year, both offensively and defensively as a running back as well. And then he won state after being runner-up last year, his junior year. So I want to give him a shout-out. Rylan Bourget, also down at South Point, she just won her 4th championship ring. She outdid her brothers. I know she has 2 brothers right now playing at Arizona State. Her older brother just signed to play football at Western Michigan, but she's on fire. Alana Rogers right now, who just finished 6th at state for wrestling, she signed with Louisiana Tech for softball, and she's playing for Willow Canyon. She's a starting shortstop. They were on Max Prep's number 13 preseason rankings, and they just beat number 7 Xavier last Friday. So that was absolutely huge for her.
Britt, I got to ask you. I've got to ask you before you continue. How big? Because you follow every sport, anything that involves a ball, a bat, a uniform. You're out there covering it. Talk to me about girls in wrestling. How much has that been embraced the last couple of years?
Oh,
I mean,
my God.
we're talking a serious sport now because now the NC2A has it.
Yes, so it's growing. It's growing for sure. They're trying to have more colleges start to embrace the sport, but in order for that to happen, it still needs to grow more. on the youth level and especially on the high school level and see that the level of competition is up. And I feel like you're starting to see that. You know, a while back when Arizona first decided to add wrestling as an emerging sport, now this was 4 years ago, I believe it was the 13th state in the nation when I was very first writing about this. I was covering it. Now Arizona is one of 34 states in the United States that offers girls wrestling as its own specific sport. So it's growing. Something that I've had a lot of conversations with some officials and some of the higher ups within the AIA that they think will help grow women's wrestling is to see more female officials out there. So they're hoping to see some of these girls that were instrumental in getting girls wrestling off the ground decide to stay involved by not necessarily having the same time commitment as being a coach, but by giving back through being an official.
Well, and that's something we can talk about because there are a shortage of officials in general. So any ladies that want to get into any kind of officiating, but obviously in wrestling as well, it pays pretty good. There's a lot of opportunities. There's a heck of a lot of games at all levels going on, freshman, junior varsity, and it's a great way to get out, network, and work your way up through the ranks. A lot of great, even pro officials, NFL, NBA, when, back in the old neighborhood growing up and going to St. Mark's, Tommy Nunez and his family, they were, and that name is synonymous with the NBA, but they all started in high school. And so there's opportunities to get involved. Britt, what would you say? I mean, how would you encourage people to get into officiating even?
So I actually had no idea, and I had to ask the female official, the lone female wrestling official within the AIA right now. Her name is Leslie Tamayo. And I actually just did a feature story on her for All Sports Tucson. So I will shoot you over a link to that, Vince, so you can plug it on the Twitter down below. And it actually gives you a whole walkthrough of how to become involved. But you would go to the AIA's website, especially around whatever season for the sport you're looking for leading up to it. She said that for wrestling, she would look around, September and get the information about how to attend the seminars that you need to attend. I believe you have to pay a one-time fee to the AIA, and then you take your test and you're certified.
Awesome. Brittany Boyer, Lit with Britt, a new feature. And Britt, so excited to finally find an opportunity that we can work together. It's going to be a lot of fun and to give you this platform to tackle any subject that you want every other week. It's going to be great. And you can find Britt out there on social media. She's covering events. She's got articles out there and feature stories, and she is just doing everything everywhere. So, Britt, thanks again.
A little bit of everywhere, but a little bit of nowhere. I don't let people know where I'm going a lot of times.
There you go. You just kind of show up. Yeah. Okay.
I do.
Lit with Britt, Brittany Boyer. Thanks, Brittany. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much, Vince. Have a great day.
All right.
Welcome to Desert Mountain Baseball. The defending 5A state champs are getting ready for the upcoming 2022 season. According to head coach Ryan Dyer, the team is not approaching this season any differently than they would if they weren't the state champs because the goal remains the same: bring home another trophy.
The strength of our team is that we are a team. These guys play together so well. The culture in the program right now is that of everybody wants to be successful as a team.
This year's roster will look very different this season, as many of last season's championship players have graduated. The young team will have a lot to learn and will be led by senior catcher Luke Muller, who is committed to the University of Arizona. Despite the young team, Coach Dyer still has high expectations for his team and his senior leader.
He's a very, very talented young man, and he's the anchor of our team. Not only is our catcher, but he's our team leader. And, we're going to lean on him a bunch this season, both on the mound and as our catcher.
The Wolves sit in the loaded Northeast Valley section. It includes tough teams like Horizon and Cactus Shadows, whom Coach Dyer mentioned as Desert Mountain's toughest opponents this season. The Wolves will open their season on February 25th against St. Mary's. For the Varsity Sports Show, I'm Aviana Hoppus reporting on Desert Mountain Baseball.
Folks, when we come back from the break, we are going to be joined by Ron Sowers and Walter Cuff from Training Better Athletes. But I have a quick question for you, Dylan. So, Dylan, we talked about multi-sport athletes, participation. We talked about that with Brittany. You were a multi-sport athlete, right? You eating and drinking. A lot, which you do a lot. You're
I
you're
mixed in
disgusting.
football and track as well.
Yeah, you're a disgusting human being.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Anyway, folks, when we return, Coach Ron Sowers, the O-line whisperer, the legend, will be back here on the Varsity Sports Show. Stick around.
All right, good. Coach Sowers coming up.
Go Varsity.
Catch the Doug Gottlieb Show weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and online at KDUS1060.com.
Welcome to the Jaguar Nation. The Varsity Sports Show is proud to partner up with Canyon View High School in the West Valley to be the voice of Jaguar athletics. Tune in on Saturdays to hear the Jaguar Nation, featuring coaches, students, and staff between 9 and 10 a.m. on AM 1060 KDUS, and subscribe to the Varsity Sports Show YouTube channel to get free exclusive coverage of Canyon View sporting events. Welcome to the Jaguar Nation.
Jack it up.
Training Better Athletes was founded by renowned football coach Ron Sowers with the philosophy of training well-rounded young people in mind and body. TBA is the go-to for middle schoolers through the pros. Coach Sowers has worked with all sports but specializes in football offensive and defensive line skills training. Whether it's one-on-one or group training, reach out to Coach Sowers at trainingbetterAthletes.com or call him at 602-435-9064. You can't cheat the grind.
This is Coach Walter Cuff with TBA Training Better Athletes, and you are listening to the Varsity Sports Show.
Interact with Bob Kemp's poll question on KDUS1060.com. That's KDUS1060.com. And while you're there, check out Bob Kemp's bottom line at KDUS1060.com.
A Monday warrior, mean strike. Today's Tom Sawyer, mean pride.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show here on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. So, in-studio guest, co-host, I'm getting tired of saying that. I wish you would just leave. Joined by my old friend from the neighborhood.
28 more minutes.
Yes, Sal Navarro, and then, of course, his friend that tagged along, Dylan Weinmiller. So I was an offensive lineman in high school. You're not going to believe it by looking at me now because I'm totally fleet of foot, and I'm just a stud of a person, but I'm not as big as I was back then. But I also coached the position, Dylan, and I know you coached the position. You played the position. You played in college. It is probably, arguably, not even arguably, it is the most important position on the field. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yes. And it's a position where you have to know the assignments of four other guys on the line.
Yeah, interchangeable. Everybody's got to know everybody should cover each other's backs. And, again, football is one of those 11 guys have to play in unison, and good things will happen if they don't. And it's human nature, so most of the time it doesn't work that way. But
yeah. So I say that in with our next guest here that is joining us here on the show. Ron Sowers is synonymous with O-line, D-line training, particularly O-line training of young people of all ages, elementary school, junior high, high school, college, professional. He works with them all, and I've seen the work that he does, and he is truly the O-line whisperer, and he's been a great partner of ours, but he's also a really good guy and takes his time and is just works with everybody. Coach, how you doing, sir?
Truly blessed, gentlemen. Truly blessed, and thanks for the Rush bumper music. Loved it.
Yeah, there you go. See, yeah. So, Coach, you've been out there, you doing a lot of outreach, and even with with our partnership now expanding to NYS, I've seen you on their sideline. I mean, you're working with everybody. What's going on at TBA?
It's been pretty crazy. Blessed. There's a huge youth movement right now coming to TBA, and we're really enjoying it. Sometimes you want to pull what's left of my hair out because, you're working with the youngsters. It's a lot of reps of the same thing over and over and trying to get them to stop chasing butterflies. But we're having a lot of fun with it, and if they have the right aptitude, they come in there and they work extremely hard. Yeah, I was with the Scottsdale program this year, the Firebirds, and I actually felt bad for a couple of games because our kids were destroying the other kids so bad. I thought I could probably get arrested. Our kids are whipping them so bad.
Well,
but it's so much fun.
Yeah.
We're expanding. I mean, Vince, it's crazy. We brought in speed with Coach Cuff. He's an amazing speed coach. We brought in nutritionist now. It's coming this weekend. And really, if you just watched the combine yesterday, you see that O-linemen are athletes.
Yeah.
They are big, strong. They're not fatties anymore. They're athletes. And it's a whole program that we're putting together to really benefit the kids on the field and, most importantly, who they are off the field.
I've seen some of those 40 times. These guys are running in the 4.8s. I mean, these are men that are 6'7", 350 pounds.
Pretty scary, isn't it? Something that big can move that fast.
Yeah. I know one person that is that big that doesn't move that fast, and you mentioned the fatties, and he's still kind of one. It's the guy sitting next to me here in the studio. I think you know him, Coach Dylan Weinmiller. He was out at Fairfax and has been around Phoenix Union. Yeah, you know, he had a lot of nice words to say about you off mic here before we broke in. He said that you'd show up, you'd be on the sideline, and you typically had the linemen that were the guys, the high-performing guys out on the field, but it's not without work. When you get these guys and they start working with you, typically describe some of their traits when they start with you.
Well, in the beginning, it's typical is that they don't have good stances. They're unsure of, what to do. And then at that point, it's just getting them comfortable in their own skin, understanding the process. I mean, the other night I was working with one of the semi-pro teams. They called me in and said, look, we need some help. And I said, guys, this is so easy if you'll grasp simple thing. Go where you're supposed to go, block what you see with a very bad attitude.
Wow. Well, and speaking of which, you are going to be working with the offensive line of the brand new pro football team that'll be playing this summer up in Prescott Valley, the Arizona Roadrunners.
Yeah, excited about that. Heavy Bones, Rob Jones, the head coach. I tell you what, when I was heavy into the semi-pro, when I got back into coaching 20 years ago, one of the best running backs. I mean, this guy couldn't have weighed 160, but, man, when he hit you, that's why I nicknamed him Heavy Bones. He brought it to you.
Wow.
And I'm excited about that, excited to help these young men. And, again, I'm old enough to call them 30-year-olds young men.
Yeah.
Have an opportunity to go play and try to achieve the ultimate goal.
Well, Coach, we're sorry we missed Coach Cuff. He must be out there working right now where you're taking a break talking to us. But what can you tell us about Coach Cuff? He's a D-line specialist.
No, Coach Cuff, several things. His daughter's first major track meet is today. So that's
okay.
Where he is at. So Coach Cuff's an amazing guy. Was my assistant O-line coach when I was the head O-line coach at Mesa Community College. And so I got to know him, got to like him, and then he's really grown as an O-line coach. But he played linebacker at the University of Washington. So we've now expanded into linebacker training with his knowledge and expertise. And then I realized by going to a couple of his daughter's track meets, wow, I mean, he has superstar daughters. And then I said, well, who coaches him? He goes, I do. So Then I thought to myself, well, we need to add speed. And so we've added speed, TBA speed now, and we're having a lot of success with it because that's another thing. You can run, but until you taught how to run correctly, you can get fast. Look, you're either fast or you're not. You can get faster, right?
Yeah.
So we're really trying to help our guys at every instance, whether the only thing we don't do is the weights. We leave that up to the coaches, but your skill sets, your nutrition, and your speed. Those are the three things that we find that we can really help kids get better and achieve a lot more.
Coach Ron Sowers, trainingbetterAthletes.com. You can reach him at 602-435-9064. Coach Sowers, thanks so much. Thanks for being such a great partner of ours, and we continue to do all we can to support you as well.
No, we appreciate you guys. You do an amazing job. And if they want to know more about us, they can go to our website. Just go to our success stories.
Awesome.
And, we train whoever walks in the door and give them everything we got.
Coach Ron Sowers, thanks, Coach. You have a great one.
Brother.
Coach, this is Weinmiller. Hey, keep up the great work.
Thank you, brother.
All right, we'll see you soon.
This is the Spring Spotlight Series on the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS Arizona, with your host, Geraldine Torellis.
That's the sound of residents at Goats with Horns Animal Sanctuary located in Gilbert. Michelle Lukaszowicz is the founder of this rescue that took in its first animals in 2012. Michelle has always had a passion for animals and started this sanctuary to take in animals that are unwanted or are being abused. Her mission is to give them a better life.
We've been around for 10 years. We have about 70 animals here. I started rescuing. I got Gibby and Gabby first. They were off Craigslist, some excess of the dairy industry. And then we just grown huge.
With around 70 animals here ranging from small chickens to big cows, Michelle's hands are full. It's a good thing that she has around 20 volunteers to help her with the load.
It's kind of like a happy place coming here and getting to spend time with those animals that, are like the lucky ones. And some of the animals here have overcome like trauma and abuse, and it's kind of like a gift. It's just like having an animal like open their heart to you. Like it's like really powerful just to like see like the love and see how far they can come.
Every morning, the animals get fed, water bowls get filled, and everyone gets some love from the rescue's dedicated volunteers. There are some helpers who have been volunteering time at Goats with Horns for years. Courtney Ellison has taken on several roles to assist Michelle, such as running the Instagram page and leading tours.
So I kind of help coordinate new volunteers too when there are new people that want to start volunteering, kind of show them the ropes or kind of figure out what days we might need people. Also, we do tours for the public, educational tours every once in a while.
Courtney volunteers at the sanctuary every Saturday along with another regular volunteer, Teresa Gallagher. Teresa is passionate about helping animals and is particularly fond of Goats with Horns.
I love the people here and the animals. I love feeling like I'm hopefully giving them, hoping to give them a good life, and they inspire me. So I just always leave on a high.
There are also volunteers who do more than the regular chores. Sky Travis works with one of the cows, Norma Jean, to teach her how to use buttons to communicate with him. He thought of this idea after seeing viral videos of people training their dogs to press buttons based off of what they want. Sky has applied the same method for Norma Jean and has buttons for food, to go outside of the stall, and even for Michelle.
I thought if they could teach dogs to do this, why couldn't I teach a cow to do it? And I thought I should give a chance for at least one former farmed animal to express what they're actually feeling.
It takes a lot to run a sanctuary between taking care of the animals, giving tours, and planning events. There is even a big wedding coming up in the spring for two goats, Chico and Princess Peanut Buttercup. Michelle and her volunteers work hard to make this all possible and to give the animals a good life. They do this in the hopes of having visitors walk away feeling empathetic towards animals like the ones that they encounter at Goats with Horns.
I want them to see animals as really people, as sentient beings that deserve the life that we live, that we would want our children to have, that we want, our friends and family to have. Love, more strength, love, knowing you have a pasture to have.
You can visit the sanctuary's website at www.gwhsanctuary.org for information on how to donate and schedule time to take a tour. In Gilbert, Geraldine Torellis, The Varsity Sports Show.
Welcome back. And so, Dylan, I wanted to ask you, and by the way, Geraldine Torellis does a great job for us. She is one of our staffers, did a report on an organization called Goats with Horns, and she's focused on all of these nonprofits and organizations that benefit the community. And this one happens to save animals, and there's a lot of great people out there doing amazing things. So thank you so much, Geraldine. That report in its entirety is on our YouTube page, and we'll make sure and send a link to that if you're interested in knowing more about it and how you can get involved with Goats with Horns. So great job, Geraldine. Dylan, I want to ask you, let's transition back to talking about O-line play. Again, in all seriousness, you've had a chance, and you played collegiately as well, You were a center, I think, right?
Inside linebacker, but good guess.
Oh, whatever. Same thing. I thought you played offense. I thought you were an offensive lineman.
High school, I played some line. I played O-line, D-line.
Okay.
College, I actually, I want to tell the story, but hurt my neck in college. So when I came home and went back a little heavier than I left, I went back to the D-line. And so, but no collegiate O-line work.
Yeah, you came back a little heavier than when you left. Big surprise there, huh? You came back. You're a lot heavier.
Hey, Red Devil and Ritos will do that too.
Yeah, okay.
Steady diet of the good stuff here.
I guess so, if that's what you want to call it. Anyway, you realize now we're 50 years old, so you got to kind of be careful.
That's why I'm making my own food now. Come on, you got to prop me up at some point. My neck is starting to show a little bit. I can shop off the rack. Now, which is a big accomplishment.
Army surplus rack? Oh, my gosh. Anyway, all right, folks, when we come back from the break, you got to be asking yourselves, you folks at home, when will this end? Well, it's going to end at 10 o'clock, and then it'll continue probably on social media as we continue to badger each other. But anyway, folks, when we come back from the break, we're going to be joined by our old friend Ralph Farrow, Carefree's favorite political insider, Mike Consigliere. We're going to talk a little bit more baseball and whatever else is on his mind when we come back from the break. And then we'll end with a major announcement from the Arizona Roadrunners professional football team and our very own partner, Matt Mason, president of the organization. Stick around, folks, through the break. Go Varsity.
Every Monday night, check out Ray Adams as he hosts the Monday Night Golf and Lifestyle Show from 6 to 7 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060.
Hey guys, Vince here to talk to you about a good friend of mine named Bob Jenkins. Bob is a Marine Corps veteran. Bob and his younger brother DJ own Vets Built Contracting. You've seen their trucks around Metro Phoenix, I'm sure. For 5 years, they've been hiring and putting veterans to work. Vets Built is licensed, bonded, and insured, both residential and commercial, specializing in renovations, remodeling, new build, casitas, safe rooms, or small commercial TI work. If you're a skilled veteran looking for work, a homeowner in need of work, or a commercial business needing TI work, please call Bob or DJ at Vets Built at 480-584-3675.
Hey, this is Ralph Farrow, Carefree's #1 sports enthusiast, and want to tell you about a new radio show that's really hitting the spot. The Varsity Sports Show, which takes care of everything from high school, junior high school, college, community college sports. You got to listen to it. It's on 1060 AM, Arizona. No? Yes?
Chris Scott of RE/MAX is Central Oregon's best realtor for anyone thinking of a vacation home or relocation. He's our very own born and raised Phoenician who moved his family to Central Oregon nearly 15 years ago. Contact Chris if you're thinking of exploring beautiful Central Oregon. It truly is living at its best. 541-999-5614. Proud partner of the Varsity Sports Shows, it's Dylan.
Hey guys, Vince here to talk to you about a good friend of mine named Bob Jenkins. Bob is a Marine Corps veteran. Bob and his younger brother DJ own Vets Built Contracting. You've seen their trucks around Metro Phoenix, I'm sure. For 5 years, they've been hiring and putting veterans to work. Vets Built is licensed, bonded, and insured, both residential and commercial, specializing in renovations, remodeling, new build, casitas, safe rooms, or small commercial TI work. If you're a skilled veteran looking for work, a homeowner in need of work, or a commercial business needing TI work, please call Bob or DJ at Vets Built at 480-584-3675.
Check out KDUS AM 1060 on 100.7 KSLX HD2. That's right, HD radio on 100.7 channel number 2.
This is the Spring Spotlight Series on the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS Arizona, with your host, Geraldine Torellis.
With the Spring Spotlight Series, we are joined by Geraldine Torellis. Geraldine, another great report. Question for you. Why? Why this? Why this type of a sanctuary?
So Michelle has always loved animals, like I mentioned in the segment, and she told me that she would go and visit sanctuaries in other cities, even in other countries, and this was just always something that she was very passionate about. and she had this plot of land, and her son told her, like, hey, we could do this. And that kind of got her going. So that's what made her take in her first 2 goats.
How big can she get? She's got this property. She has 20 volunteers, and I know she probably wasn't anticipating, getting as big as she has so far. But how much bigger can she handle getting?
Well, the property that she has is she has neighbors, so that's the property that she has is also the room that she has. But I know that she has taken animals up until recently, and I don't know if she plans on taking in more animals, or she just wants to keep it where it's at, just because she does have a lot of animals there. And it takes a lot of resources to take care of every animal.
Yeah, well, you mentioned resources, and she's not doing this out. She is doing this out of the kindness of her heart, but also it takes money and donations. Is she tied in with any corporations with corporate giving? Is this all strictly private donations? How does she survive?
So she takes in a lot of donations from people who want to come on tours. They pay a $10 donation to participate in the tour. She has on her website about donating one time, or even being a monthly donor. And you can also look at an Amazon wish list and see what supplies they need. And they do a lot of fundraising events, including this wedding that's coming up. These are all ways to get money.
Yeah, Chico and Princess Peanut Butter. Okay. Thank you, Geraldine Torellis. Another great report on the Spring Spotlight. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
Hey, now it's time for Carefree Arizona's favorite political insider, a mover, a shaker, with East Coast toughness, yet West Coast sensitivity. Ralph Farrow, talking everything from politics to sports. A real Renaissance man. Here's Ralph.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show here on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. Before we transition to my buddy Ralph, I got a couple more emails here, Dylan, that were directed to you. First of all, Angie from Salem, Oregon writes in. She says, "Nice job, Dylan. You don't sound like you look. You sound much thinner on the radio." What do you say to that?
The radio takes off 20 pounds.
Yeah, 20? Yeah, okay. I got another email here. Tom from Tonopah. He says, "Dylan, if goats can get married, why can't you?"
Well, Tom's calling from Tonopah.
Okay,
so.
Enough said?
Yeah,
okay.
Said.
All right, joining us on the line, old friend of ours, Ralph Farrow, Carefree's #1 insider that just has a platform to say whatever he wants within reason. Ralph, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Vinci.
Yeah.
Basically, today, let's talk about the debacle going on with baseball.
Okay, fans' perspective. Give us your perspective.
It's ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah.
these guys, yes, okay, the players aren't getting everything they want, but they're not supposed to get everything they want. And, of course, the owners, I don't know what their problem is. I mean, they're busting chops. But, I mean, they already canceled, the first couple of series of the season. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, we lost spring training, so, I mean, all the money in Arizona went out the window.
Yeah.
So Arizona didn't get any money from spring training.
Yeah.
And that's a shame, because a lot of businesses, especially bars and restaurants, really relied on the spring training time to make some decent money.
Well, if you were at a table with all the owners, what would you say to those guys? Because I know you like to speak your mind.
Yeah, I would just say, okay, get over it. Let's make a deal and stop this nonsense, because you're ruining the sport, and you're ruining yourselves too as your image of the sport.
Yeah.
So it's ridiculous. They got to do this and get this over with and get the season started. Hopefully, we still could play 150 games, maybe. I mean, I don't know. But they got to do this soon, because even that's getting to be ridiculous. So,
yeah.
I mean, here we are in March, and another couple of weeks. Well, the season was supposed to officially start at the end of March 31st.
Yeah.
Which now
not
has been
going to happen.
canceled.
Yeah.
So this is really bad. I mean, but I'm sure there's a lot of baseball fans that are getting really upset with these guys, and not only the owners, but even the players, or they're not even the players themselves.
Ralph, quick question, and then we got to close. Dylan's got a quick question for you. Go ahead,
Hey,
Dylan.
Ralph, this is Dylan, the host of this morning's show.
You overtaking Vinny's plot.
It wasn't very hard. But I do have a question about just the fans. I remember the big home run race was what got the fans back from the last lockout. Now we're going into another one, and it just doesn't seem, especially with the loss of games over COVID, the last couple of years have been kind of messy. We're talking about just millions of dollars, right? Not $100 million, just a kind of a little bit. How is this going to affect the everyday fan? Do they even have the everyday fan anymore?
Well, I don't know. That we won't find that out until they come back and start playing and see who shows up at the stadium and who starts watching the games on TV. I mean, I mean, I'm not a big Diamondback fan. My team is the Dodgers, and that's who I'm. Now I got to see if this season starts eventually. Will the Dodgers still be drawing at
Ralph,
the stadium?
I got to cut in because we got some late breaking news from the Arizona Roadrunners. Aaron, let's go to him. Matt Mason, and I apologize, Ralph. We'll circle back with you soon. Late breaking news: Arizona Roadrunners. Matt Mason from the Arizona Roadrunners football team. Matt, go ahead.
Yes. How are you guys today?
Oh man, we're just wrapping it up, but we wanted to save the best for last. What do you got for us?
Yeah. So you know how we're giving away a lot of tickets to veterans, military, current, past, police, fire, for all of our home games. If you are any of those things, come and get free tickets. We just landed a huge sponsor with Driggs Title.
Wow.
They're actually going to be running the entire veterans VIP tent. It's going to be presented by them. There's going to be food, drinks for all military, former, past, present. We want to take care of those guys, as well as our tryouts tomorrow over at Viewpoint Park in Paradise Valley. Prescott Valley.
Prescott Valley.
It actually got moved, to Viewpoint Park from 12 to 3.
Awesome. So late breaking news. So first responders, military, veterans, you got free passes all season to the Arizona Roadrunners football this summer up in Prescott Valley. Big tryout tomorrow. Thank you, Driggs Title. Thank you, Matt Mason, for joining us. Matt, we look forward to covering you guys. We are excited.
Absolutely. Hey, not only free admission, but free drinks and food too. So
wow.
Let's get that there.
Sorry,
We're
Dylan, you're not.
Them like the VIPs they are.
Yeah.
You can come, Dylan.
Yeah. How about friends of the military?
No. Yeah.
First responders.
You have no friends.
How about this?
Yeah.
I'll have a ticket with your name on it.
There you go. How about an invite to camp for a 50-year-old?
Okay. Now we're pushing
former
it.
D lineman.
Yeah. Okay.
Unfortunately, you may have broken the age range for us.
I look 55.
You look disgusting. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of our first of many, hopefully, 2-hour show with the Varsity Sports Show. Thanks again to our in-studio co-hosts for the day, Mr. Sal Navarro and Dylan Weinmiller. Thanks, Coach Weinmiller, for joining us. Thank you to all of our wonderful guests, our show partners that have been along for the ride and continue to promote us and help us, and we, in turn, will continue to promote and help you. Dylan, any last parting thoughts?
Yeah, you know what? I just want to say congratulations on the program. If Coach is still with us, and good luck this season. Best to you guys up there, and be fun to follow. And Vince, thanks for having us in studio. Looking forward to the segment coming up.
It's Dylan. Sounds creepy.
It does sound creepy. We may have to change that up a little. Everybody else has these great intros, and I've got
Maniacs from Flashdance. Good stuff. Anyway, on that note, folks, thanks again for joining us. We will be back, same time, same place, 8 a.m. now on KDUS AM 1060 Arizona, and the accompanying live stream link online if you're out of the area. Obviously, we've got folks up in the beautiful Northwest region of the country that listen in as well. Thank you so much for supporting our programming. Ed and Javon are up next. Have a great weekend, everyone. Remember the 4 agreements. Go Varsity.
Thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show. Our mission is to empower education and enable dreams, creating a platform to promote young people in extracurricular activities and community outreach. If you are interested in partnering up with the Varsity Sports Show, find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or call or text us at 480-779-9437. The Varsity Sports Show, Arizona's home for youth, high school, college, and you.